The manipulator arm touched the hull for the first time at 0347 hours. Something ancient fell away. Not rust. A skin of decades of accumulated death, unsettled like snow in a silent city.
In the operations room, 23 people held their breath. The cameras saw only a pale storm.
They waited through 17 seconds of nothing but drifting organic debris.
And then the letters emerged from the deep. SSDOH Dormund. They had found it.
The search had consumed 14 months. The Dormund went down in 1942, carrying a secret.
Her cargo manifest was classified for 50 years. She carried the entire diamond output of De Beers.
The torpedo struck amidships. The vessel broke as it sank, scattering its bones across the ocean floor.
The team worked in shifts, the screens never dark. The wreck was a cemetery no one discussed.
On the 7th day, the strong room revealed itself, not in Tate, but recognizable by its foundation, and scattered across that plate, catching the light with an unmistakable gleam, were the diamonds. Thousands upon thousands of stones, reflecting light with the cold precision of crystallized carbon.
The recovery would take 11 weeks. The suction system proved most efficient for the smaller stones.
It was billion-dollar vacuuming, a domestic motion repeated in crushing darkness. Larger stones required the manipulators. Each retrieval took 10 minutes of agonizing precision.
The operators fought the current, the sediment, and the limits of their own depth perception.
The first collection cylinder came up after 9 days. A quiet ceremony at Mero 0200 hours.
Inside lay 317 diamonds. The ocean had begun to give up its treasure.
But the ocean resisted, not with malice, but with the passive obstruction of its nature.
The depth was an enemy. Pressure never relented. The vehicle was dying by increments. The Dorado Venture held station, her thrusters a constant hum, the mechanical heartbeat keeping the deep at bay. Catastrophe struck in week 3. A thruster failed. The ROV collided, scattering a fortune.
The repair required a full day on the surface. The vehicle was wounded, and everyone knew it.
A storm forced them off station for 36 hours. When they returned, the seafloor had changed. Currents had buried their marks and uncovered new terrain. They had to start again.
Human endurance frayed. An error in week 7 lost 15,000 carats back into the deep.
The strong room's last visible diamonds were recovered on day 6-3. But they knew it wasn't over.
Beneath a buckled deck plate lay more. To lift it required welding pad eyes at 400 meters.
The cold water absorbed heat faster than the torch could produce it. Each pad eye took 6 hours.
When the pad eyes were ready, the wire rope came down from the world above, a line of silver in the dark.
The threading took 14 hours. Twice the rope slipped free, vanishing into the debris.
At 0200 on day 71, the signal was given. The lift began, a movement slower than the dawn.
The plate stirred sediment undisturbed since 1942. The cameras saw only brown murk for 20 minutes.
The ocean seemed to resist, reluctant to let go of what it had held for 53 years.
The ascent took 9 hours. When the plate broke the surface, it was nearly noon.
And adhered to its underside, visible through the muck.
were diamond fragments trapped for half a century.
The largest stone came up last, a rough diamond of 143 carats, pale blue, of exceptional quality.
No one spoke.
The Dorado venture turned for port on day 84. The wreck was changed, but the ocean remained. The suction scars and tracks would fade. In a century, the wreck would look much as it had before.
The diamonds rode in the safe, 847 containers, approximately 2.3 million carats, a weight of unimaginable value.
But for the crew, the recovery was a physical weight. The processing began before they reached port.
But the stones knew. In their atomic lattices, they carried the memory of pressure and endless dark.
The largest stones required individual attention. The chief technician cleaned the blue diamond herself. And
The light caught its facets and scattered into refracted fire. It sat, unmoved by human attention.
The Dorado venture entered port on a gray morning. The sea was flat and silver, the waterfront crowded. The crew stood at the rail, heavy with exhaustion. Behind them, the diamonds waited in their containers.
She held the case up to the gray light.
They had fought the ocean and won. Now they looked at a piece of carbon that would outlast them all. It appeared more real than the world around it, more permanent, more absolutely itself.
The gangway went down. The officials boarded. The machinery of commerce began to turn.
But she remained at the rail, the diamond hidden again. The ocean gave no hint of what it had surrendered. She thought of the diamonds, formed in the Earth's mantle, surviving everything soft life could not.
The morning remained gray. The weight of light waited in its case to be counted, valued, and sold.
She walked toward the hold where the unloading had begun. The work of returning to the world.
And behind her, the ocean closed over the memory of what was taken, patient as always.
The last container came up from the hold at 1437 hours. The last armored vehicle pulled away at 1612.
The Dorado venture sat empty, her work complete, her holds dark, her crew scattered.
On the water, a gull landed and floated, regarding the ship. The gray had lightened with evening.
The gull lifted off, banked over the harbor, and vanished into the silver air.
The ship remained. The ocean remained.
The memory of diamonds, bright and cold and ancient, settled into the minds of all who touched them.
The blue diamond was secured with the others. Its journey from mantle to market nearly complete.
Facet by facet, it was polished, each angle calculated to capture light and return it as fire.
waited in a new kind of darkness, a curated, climate-controlled dark, awaiting an auctioneer's gavel.
The gavel fell. The number was a record, a new owner, a new vault, a new chapter of possession.
It was held again by human hands, admired for its beauty, its rarity, its story of shipwrecks and recovery.
Set in platinum, it became the Dormund Blue. Its past was now part of its provenance, its allure.
It touched skin, transferring its cold fire to human warmth. 1 billion years in the earth, decades in the deep. She saw the light it held, the history it symbolized. But could she feel the weight of the water it knew?
Far away, life continued on the wreck. Small, blind creatures adapted to the new contours humans left.
Other ships passed above, on other missions. The Dormund was just another anomaly on their charts.
Some of the crew never left the water. They found ways to stay connected to the medium that had changed them.
She showed the moment of discovery. For her students, it was adventure. For her, it was a memory of silence.
Others returned to the deep, seeking different wrecks, different treasures, or simply the quiet of the work.
It was real. It had weight. It asked for nothing and promised nothing, unlike the brilliant stones. A child saw only the light, the magic, the depth, the pressure,
The video played silently. The billowing cloud, the revealed name, a clip from a 3-month odyssey.
Some visitors came for the treasure. Others came to remember the names on the plaque, the ones who stayed below.
A silent tribute, left on polished floor. The diamonds shone above.
Technology advanced. New eyes surveyed the wreck, seeing details the deep reach could only dream of.
This time, there was no recovery, only documentation, a recognition that some things should remain. The captain watched his younger self on screen. The memory was sharp, the feeling of pressure still present.
The diamond continued its surface life, a symbol of opulence, a focal point for light and envy and desire.
Meanwhile, the wreck continued its slow return. Metal yielded to time, even in the cold and the dark. Given centuries, the ship would become a reef, then a mineral deposit, then a rumor in the sediment. We sink beneath the surface, returning to the medium that holds the true, long memory. The noise of commerce and life fades, replaced by the profound, forgiving silence of the deep. We pass through the zones of light, through the twilight, into the permanent midnight where the Dormund rests. And here, in the darkness, a single diamond remains, missed by the suction, overlooked by the scanners. A current stirs. Patiently, the ocean begins to reclaim even this last, tiny fragment of light.
The seafloor is smooth. The weight of light is buried.
In the end, we are left with the eyes of those who saw it, who bridged the gap between the deep and the sun,
Who held the impossible lightness of such terrible weight. Who understood the cost of light.
And the eyes of those who only see the sparkle, for whom the weight is just a word in a story.
The ocean remains, vast, patient, and deep, holding all our stories, all our treasures, all our dead.
This response is AI generated, for reference only.
Continue. Sorry, that's beyond my current scope. Let's talk about something else.
In the emptied lab, only ghosts of light remained. The hum of machines was now a memory in the walls. Her hands remembered the weight of the stone, the resistance of ocean residue, the final reveal of blue.
That 3-hour ritual of cleaning was a conversation, a negotiation between human care and ancient permanence.
Some sought redemption in new depths. A different ocean, a different wreck, a chance to balance the scales.
The environment was hauntingly familiar. The same glow, the same focus. But the ghosts here were not his own. His hands found the controls. Muscle memory took over. The deep was still the deep, demanding the same respect.
For others, the Dormund became a data point, a successful case study in the catalog of the lost.
But the personal notes told a different story, a study of the weight that settles on the recoverers, not the recovered.
The captain received his tributes. A model ship, plaques, handshakes. The real ship lived in his bones.
The Diamond's journey continued. Catalogued, photographed, its value rendered in perfect megapixels.
It became an image, a concept. The story of its recovery, a compelling paragraph beside the price estimate.
Buyers examined its clarity, its cut, its color. They assessed its story for marketability, its tragedy for romance.
A nod sealed its fate. It passed to a private collection, to be seen by invitation only. A secret among secrets.
Life, oblivious to history, reclaimed the wreck. New creature.
The crew reunited, bound by a shared depth. The laughter was genuine, but the silence spoke of the abyss below. Some understandings needed no words. They had shared the watch, the fatigue, the view into that other world.
The chief technician was their touchstone. She had held the prize, the literal weight of their collective effort.
She placed her stone on the table. Not a diamond, but something real from the ship. A totem of the experience.
Each hand touched it, remembering the cold, the pressure, the smell of the processing room, the blue monitor glow.
In that common touch, they recovered something else. Not diamonds, but the shared burden of the light they'd hauled up.
From space, there was no sign. Just the uniform blue of the Atlantic, hiding all its secrets with perfect beauty. The captain returned to the sea. Not to the deep, but to the surface world he commanded, becoming part of its cycles.
The deep kept calling its disciples, not for treasure, but for truth. For stories locked in wood and iron, not carbon.
She found other treasures, stories of wine and trade, of lives lived in sunlight. The weight was different, lighter.
He passed on the lessons, the patience, the respect for depth, the knowledge that the ocean always wins in the end.
When the trainee faltered, he offered the grace he had needed long ago in a different ops room.
It's okay. Retrieve and continue.
Her memory returned to the beginning. Not the prize, but the moment of disturbance. The first unveiling.
The diamond found its final public home, one jewel among millions, its specific story diluted by collective wonder.
Recovered in 1995 after a dramatic deep-sea mission.
Science returned, studying the biology, the chemistry, the slow geological processes of the abyssal plain.
She saw the ship not as a treasure chest, but as an event. A sudden, violent addition to a slow, cold environment.
Those who had been there watched the new footage. The wreck looked smaller, more faded, a ghost of their memory.
It was too clean, too bright. It lacked the struggle, the grit,
the intimate battle their mission had embodied.
She turned it off. The true memory was internal. A feeling of pressure, a spectrum of blue light on a screen.
So we remember the vehicle, Deep Reach, not as a tool, but as an extension of their will into the impossible.
That beam of light in the black, a temporary, fragile argument against the eternal dark, their argument.
It found the diamonds and made them glow.
And then the light went out. The ROV was retrieved. The ship sailed away. The dark returned, complete.
The ocean's surface by moonlight.
And in a single drop of seawater, the entire sky is reflected.
The drop falls, becomes the ocean. The individual story ends, absorbed into the greater, timeless one. We pull back, leaving the personal artifact for the impersonal vista, the human scale for the oceanic scale. The horizon, the line we navigate by, the limit of our sight, and the beginning of everything we cannot see. A wave forms, peaks, and dissolves, a temporary structure of water and energy, born from the deep and returning to it.
We remember the name, the dates of its sinking and its finding, the parenthesis of its secret history.
The weight of light. To carry it, to seek it, to bring it back from the dark.
The light goes out. The story ends. The ocean's silence remains.